Welcome, friends, to this second half of today's program, one-day program here. I spoke to you earlier in the morning about some fundamental truths about ourselves and about life around us. And the main point I was trying to stress is that everything we are looking on the spiritual path is inside us. There is nothing to be found outside. Everything is inside. The Creator is inside. The creation is inside. The Master who takes us back is also inside. Everything is inside. Why are we roaming around outside? What are we looking for outside? We are roaming around outside for the simple reason that when we close our eyes, we see nothing but darkness. And therefore we open our eyes, at least there is light outside, we see some things here. That's the only reason that we don't go in, because there is no light inside. And yet, if we go the right way, there is more light inside than all the suns of this universe combined. There is so much light inside us. And we covered it so thickly with these covers of mind, senses and body. These covers are hiding that light. We can pierce those covers by the process of withdrawing attention from one cover to the other. Make one disappear and the second disappear. When we make one cover disappear, it does not mean that we are going to die. It's a way of experiencing what die would be like in the physical plane. It does not mean nobody dies. My father got initiated from great master when he was a student in college. And when he began to meditate, the attention was pulled in by the sound current inside so rapidly, he felt he was going to die. He stopped meditating, said, I'm never going to do this meditation again. This kills us. He went to great master and said, Master, that meditation is no good. It leads to death. Why didn't you tell us before that it kills you and takes you to heaven by killing you? And great master said, you know, it is not really killing you. It's not even real death. It is only the experience of death. Your body remains the same. The functions of the body are intact. They work the same. The heart beats the same. The breathing goes on while you're having the experience. Very often the body can sit upright while you're having the experience of withdrawal. So it's not a physical thing. It's an experience being generated inside the body. It's an experience because you have centers in the body by contacting which you are able to have the experience of leaving the body, going to higher levels, and ultimately you see a true home also from centers in the body. It's the most perfect creation. That with a physical body around you, you have points of contact inside where you can have every possible experience. You can go watch the galaxies outside by going inside. You can see the whole of physical creation by going inside. You can see vastness which can never be even understood here inside. Everything can be seen inside, not because we are going to leave something outside and go inside, but because we see how these things are operating, and we are able to go and touch the nerve centers from where these things are being projected and being experienced as outside. So this is a very remarkable way by meditation to withdraw attention inside. Great Master told my father, he said, if you think that you will die while meditating, have you ever seen anybody? I have initiated so many people. Have you ever seen anybody die in meditation? Even normal death which can come to us does not take place during meditation. Why are you afraid? So he explained that the experience can be such. And since we haven't had, if the experience comes very rapidly, it can be a little frightening because we are not used to it. That is why Great Master himself recommended, don't be impatient and run for the inner experience because you haven't been used to it for a long time. Therefore, take it step by step. In Punjabi, he said, darje ba darje. This is a path to be gone stage by stage, step by step. Each step you satisfy yourself, then you take the next step. It's very, very smooth and very easy to follow. But if you try to hurry through that, I want to reach my true home quickly, and you may then feel you're losing something here, what are you getting the next? Because our mind has trained us to be afraid of the unknown. When we are not sure what we are going to see, we are afraid. So fear comes from that. So that is why if each step is taken and we see the next one and then take the next step, we are not afraid. If you have experiences in meditation of going within, you will understand the nature of the mind. If you go beyond the mind, you will understand that all fears and all doubts were arising only from the mind. Our soul, our consciousness per se, has no fear and no doubt whatsoever. Whatever it knows, that true knowledge, true awareness, is full of certainty. You will see that there are many teachers and professors, when they teach things, they say, maybe, perhaps, this could be like that, this speculative. In Master's teachings, in Perfect Living Master's teaching, there are no maybes and perhapses. They speak from direct experience and they speak with certainty. And if we practice meditation like they teach us, we get a clarity in our head that removes doubt. And because doubt is removed, we remove fear also with it. Imagine if you had no doubt, you would never have fear. They are linked together. And both are generated by our mind. It's also a gift to have a little doubt and a little fear. Because we have to play our part in this world. And if there is no doubt and no fear, we will not search anymore. And we will not be afraid of doing anything we want to do. So it's a good device for making us do our karmic duties in this world. But when it comes to going within, they come in the way. Doubt and fear come in the way, and it takes time for them to go away. People have experiences inside, and they're very happy about it. And after some time say, I'm not so sure if the mind just made it up or it's a real experience. People say, I had a conversation with my master inside. It was beautiful, got all the answers. But I'm not sure. Was my own mind talking to me? Was it master? The mind has this habit of creating doubts and fears. They only really disappear when you can see who you are above the mind and see mind was merely a machine, a computer given to you to use. Mind is no different than a computer we have invented. It has memory, it's got input and output like that, it processes like a computer. And just because a machine like that has been given, a wonderful machine, the best you could buy anywhere, this wonderful machine of the mind is supposed to be used by us. Used for what? Used for thinking, communication, talking, writing, doing things that is supposed to be done with the mind. Talking to others, communicating with people, performing our acts in this world. It's a very good device. Use it, but don't get used by it. Supposing they are afraid that in another 20 years or 30 years, there will be computers that will have more intelligence than we have. They are predicting. And then we will all say, Mr. Computer, what should I do tomorrow? When I heard that they say they are going to make computers which will tell us what to do, I said, we are already doing it. Right today. The mind is our computer. We are doing what the mind is telling us. We don't tell the mind what to do. We are supposed to take advantage of a thinking machine with us and direct it what to think. Direct it what to do. Instead of that, we are depending on the mind to tell us what we should be doing. And then we regret, oh, if I had known that before. Oh, if I had known so much more. The reason why we say that is, the mind can never know everything. The mind always has a partial knowledge. And we apply the two fundamental rules of the mind, which is logic, deductive logic and inductive logic. And both of them fail when it comes to certainty. Deductive knowledge does not give us any more knowledge than what is in the premise itself. It says, if this wall is painted in this color, part of the wall is also painted in that color. That deductive knowledge doesn't go beyond that. Therefore, it never adds to knowledge. And the inductive logic is still speculative. It says, because this wall is colored like that, where it bends like this, which I can't see, it must be the same color. That's inductive. We are relying so much on this kind of logic. How can we have certainty? So that is why the mind has never been able to give us a sense of certainty. It leaves some taste of doubt, uncertainty. On the other hand, look at the knowledge that the soul gives us directly, gut feeling. I know it. How do you know it? I don't know how, but I know it. Where is that coming from? Where is intuitive knowledge coming from? Where does intuition itself come from? It comes directly from our soul. Therefore, when you rise above the mind, there will be no uncertainty left in anything. You will see exactly what's happening. You will know exactly what your role is. You will know exactly what the act is that you are performing. You will see the script of your life. And you will know that as a good actor, you will stick to the script automatically. Life becomes so beautiful and wonderful. Then you see the perfection of creation. Otherwise, if you don't go to that stage, everything is imperfect. Everything is horrible. It doesn't match. It's incongruent. But once you go above the mind, you will see the perfection of how these opposites have been placed, how the grand picture has been drawn up and put into place as a way of creation. So this is a great experience that you have, and is all possible in a human being through the simple process of going within your own self, not anywhere outside. The whole treasure house is right here, not in the whole body, in a small section, in a very small area of the head, of a physical body, contains everything. You don't have to explore too very far, explore very long distances. An author once asked me to write a chapter for him on spirituality. And I said, well, the chapter has to be very small then. He said, how many pages do you think it will write? I said, no, not pages. It will be too small. Will it be one page? I said, perhaps less. What, will it be just a sentence? I said, maybe less than that. Maybe one word. And he said, what is that word? I said, if you can experience that word, you are spiritual. And the word is love. Love is originating from the soul. Love is born in totality of consciousness and percolates down all the way right up to here and never leaves us. If we hold on to love for the perfect in us, hold on to that, you reach your home, true home. Then what is stopping us? What is stopping us is our own mind, given to us for some other purpose. The mind which has been given to communicate with people, to write books, to speak with languages, that mind is the one that's coming in the way. Love is natural. You can't learn it. But mind is to be trained. Language has to be trained. Manner of thinking and speaking has to be learnt. Everything else that the mind does has to be learnt. Love is not to be learnt. And therefore, it's the real pull. People ask me, there are so many spiritual masters, we have a problem finding out who is our master. It's a real issue with so many people. And the answer is simple. The one who pulls you with his unconditional love is your master. It's as simple. Masters come in human form for us. They come into this world to pick up souls that are eager and keen to go back home. Now, one master can't come and pick up the whole world because he's acting in a human drama as a human being. And the seekers are also human beings. So he has a limited role in a limited lifetime, like us. Everybody has a limited lifetime. A master who comes in a lifetime like a human being also has a limited time and body here to work on. So how does he decide which souls to pick up and which ones not to pick up? There should be some methodology there too. The method is to explain in a layman's language that every master, every perfect living master, who is a projection of our own totality of consciousness and appears as a human being, carries his own list of which souls he has to take back. There's a list of marked souls that every master has. He will take those souls back no matter what. He will say, meditate. You meditate. He'll never say, if you don't meditate, I won't take you. His promise to take you is guaranteed. The rest of the thing is only for our own mind's purposes over here. The mind wants that. He gives answers to our mind's questions. Why? Because the mind wants that. His role is not to look into the mind or do what the mind is doing. He's already seeing we are trapped in the mind. He sees what karma is trapping us, what kind of prisoner we have become by our own actions, by our own thoughts. He pulls us out from there. He doesn't judge anybody. That's one of the key things you will notice. A master never judges anybody. His love is unconditional. He doesn't say, if you be a good person, I'll take you, otherwise I won't. On the other hand, his unconditional love, with no conditions, no judgment involved, overtakes the doubts of our own mind. Sometimes it takes time. Sometimes it is not so much time. What is the reason? Some people make very quick progress and some are very slow in it. The reason is our own baggage which we carry on our mind. The baggage of our own karma. We carry guilt for mistakes we make, which we never give up, which make us lose even the self-esteem that we should carry because we have got a soul. We should have very high self-esteem that this body is containing an immortal soul. How come we forget this? Here is an embodiment, a form in which an immortal soul exists. This requires the best self-esteem. No, we just get governed by the mind and forget about what is our soul or where the soul is, or if there is a soul or not. We begin to think like that. And therefore, this baggage that we carry of our own karma, of our own actions, our own intentions, that makes it a different path for everybody. Some are faster, some are slower. Similarly, when masters initiate us, what do they see? They don't look at our body and they don't look at our face. They look at the soul trapped in the three-dimensional world of this mind. That's all they look. That here is a prisoner, this is the soul that's my responsibility, and is trapped so badly. They have compassion naturally flowing. Their compassion is not for what is happening in the world. Their compassion is that this soul is trapped in this world and we have to take the soul back home. So that is why you find strange kind of compassion and love from these masters you don't find anywhere else in the world. And you can't even explain it sometimes, how that happens. Because it is a soul-to-soul reaction. It is not something the mind is involved. When the mind gets involved, it can create some obstacles on the way, which are gradually removed. So remember, teachers come and teach the same thing to everybody. If you could learn spirituality from a teaching, you could read all the books. There are thousands of books containing the same teachings. You could just read those books and know what the spiritual path is all about and follow it. Masters don't come to teach. They come to take us back home. Their role is totally different from a teacher. They come, they pick up their souls, and they go through the processes which our minds are preventing us from going, the resistance they have to overcome. This resistance of the mind is what makes them say, do more meditation, do this, do those things, because they know, they can see that the mind is resisting. I mentioned this resistance of the mind on one of my earlier talks, and a friend from overseas had written to me, I am an electrical engineer and I know about resistance because I design electrical equipment, and I am going to draw a picture of the mind as an electrical apparatus. So he draws a picture, the whole diagram of the resistance built into this. He said, that must be how it is done. Anyway, the point was that the resistance of the mind is because of its doubt and fear. And that's why the mind resists. Am I leaving something that I have here for the unknown? I don't know what is on the other side. Am I taking a big leap of faith? What am I doing? Should I believe this or not? Is it a blind belief that I'm going into? These are all obstacles the mind will put in front of us. The great master's teaching, which I follow, says don't believe anything blindly. Nothing at all. Only go as far as you can see. Only go as far as your own experience justifies. If you have no experience to justify moving on, don't move. Say, I'm waiting. I must have some experience to move on. The experience need not be an internal visual experience. It can be an external experience. It can be rapid repetition of strange coincidences outside. It can be an experience that you have felt in your heart that you never felt before. It can be any one of these experiences which makes you move forward. But if there is no experience and you say, I have a faith, this will happen, that's blind faith. On the spiritual path, there is no room for blind faith. But you should have living faith, which is a little different. Living faith means that you have one little experience and builds faith. Now it is possible to move one step. Not all the way, one step. Second step comes and you say, now I have more faith. Now I can wait for the next step. Now a third step comes. So this grows. Living faith grows like all living things. Blind faith stays static. Whatever you believe remains the same. And you just keep on believing it. So the perfect living masters recommend that you should have living faith. Now all these things are possible for all human beings. It is not a method for one person. And yet the masters will customize it for each person separately. Because our karma is different. Our background is different. The stage at which we are today is different. Therefore, when masters give us something, they customize it. That is why if somebody says, I read a letter from great master, it's published in a book, and he says this, I don't feel like that. It wasn't meant for you. In the same book, master's letters I have seen contradictions. Not only in letters. In great master's time, a man came in the evening. Master was sitting, I was sitting on the floor nearby, and I saw a strange thing, that a man comes running and he says, Master, this is my daughter. And she's grown up, she's a teenager, and she wants to go to college. And we say, no, she's a girl, she should get married and raise a family. What do you say? Master said, what's the difference between boys and girls? She should go to college. Why are you stopping her? Okay, Master, she'll go to college. Within a few minutes, another man comes with his daughter. And he says, Master, my daughter's grown up and she wants to go to college. And we say she should get married. And Master says, no, it's better to get married, look after the household. Two different answers in 5 minutes, two identical situations. Masters are not giving a standard reply. They are giving a reply according to the karmic situation of that person, according to what is best for that person to move on the spiritual path, which we cannot always see. Masters can always see what is the best thing at this time for this person based on what has happened over several lifetimes. Masters don't see what is happening in front of them, they see several lifetimes when they look at a person. Initiation is a process where the master evaluates the whole thing, the complete history of previous lives. So master's view on people is very different. And that's why the whole path for each individual based on where that person is customized. I brought up this issue today before you because some people believe it's just a common teaching and we can learn from one statement made for one person and apply it to us. No. Not only that. Master give talks. I remember great master giving a talk to 50 people in a small group. Master left and we were talking what Master said. Everybody was saying something different. They all heard different things. They heard what they needed. They did not hear the same thing. So, when I was young, I had a great-grandmother. She was very old and feeble. And my father said, this is my grandmother, your great-grandmother. Ishwar, don't you think we should take her to Dera? And before she dies, passes on, she should have the darshan, at least a look at the Master. We said, that will be a great idea. So we family took her. She had to be carried. She was so infirm, she had become small in body. We carried her and requested Great Master, this is grandmother or great-grandmother, and she is about 90 years old, and she couldn't come herself. We carried her, but we thought she'll have your darshan and hear one satsang of yours, one discourse of yours. Can we seat her just next to you so she can hear you clearly? Because she is old. Master said yes. We seated her next to the Master when he was giving a discourse. And in those days, in the Dera in India, there were no lavatories for men or women, and people after the satsang had to go to the river. And the ladies were going on the left side and the men were going on the right side. So they don't interact there. They go to their own places. So most of these satsangs, the discourses of Master ended with the words, now don't forget that ladies have to go on the left side and the men have to go on the right side. So this lady whom we called Bebeji, as a great-grandmother, after the satsang, we lifted her, brought her home. We were very happy. She heard this whole satsang sitting next to Great Master. So we asked her, Bebeji, did you like the satsang? She said, yeah, it was nice. What did the Master say? She said, Master said, ladies go on the left side, men go on the right. That's all she remembered. So we all hear what we are bound to hear, what we are supposed to hear, what we are intended to hear. So that is why do not think that anybody's reply to somebody else will always automatically apply to you. And that is one of the mistakes we make when read books. Somebody says that I am reading a book which says the real secret of getting success in meditation is all the effort you can put in. Put in 2 hours, 2.5 hours, if possible even more. That the most successful meditators had put in 8 hours of meditation a day. That's why they got it. Same book, another part of the same book says, actually it is not the effort at all that counts. It is the grace of the Master and the love that pulls you. If you have love and devotion and get grace of the Master, ask for grace. Don't waste your time on meditation. Which one is true? It's in the same book. Effort or grace? Do you depend on one part of the book or the second part of the book? How can the book help you if the both things are stated there? Of course, when you go to a Master and he says, do your meditation, more meditation, he knows that's all you need. Because if you don't do it, you won't move to the next stage of understanding grace. And then you start meditating. You had an opportunity to do more meditation earlier. You didn't do it. Master says, do more meditation, and you start meditating more. And then later on you make some progress and you suddenly find you could not have meditated more at all with your mind, but for the grace the Master gave you by saying, meditate more. And you discover that what you meditated more was not your meditation, it was grace itself. So what happens on the spiritual ascent into higher levels of consciousness is, you start by believing it is all your effort. Then you say, no, there is something else helping me in my effort. Then you go further and say, it's I think partly grace, it's partly my effort working. Then you go further and say, I think it's mostly grace. Ultimately, at the end, you find it all grace. And therefore, when I discovered, I said there's no difference between effort and grace. It just looks like effort to start with and looks like grace at the end. So there is no contradiction. Once you discover that, you read the book, it makes sense. If you don't discover it, don't practice on it, then it looks like a contradiction. So that is why Master's injunctions to us, advice to us, is based upon at what stage we are and at what stage we can absorb certain things, understand those things. Because so many things Masters say may pass over our head and later on they may make sense. A guy came to me once in Cambridge and he said, I am interested in the spiritual path and I've read a book called The Path of the Masters by Dr. Julian Johnson. It's a good book, but it doesn't answer my questions. That it's not worthwhile for a spiritual seeker to read. It's based upon ancient Indian ideas that he has picked up, this doctor from US, and I threw the book away. I said, well, that's all right. If the book made no sense to you, you could read some more psychological books and other things, understanding the mind. After a few years, he met me again. He said, wonderful, I'm on the spiritual path. I said, what happened? I read the book again. The same book put me on the spiritual path now. The same book that didn't mean anything, after a few years means so much. What happened? It's nothing wrong with the book. The book is the same. The print is the same. The language is the same. It's your own state of development that took the book with one meaning at one time, another meaning at another time. So all the point I'm making is that these are things customized. We all are at different stages. But what is common is that we all have access to insight. I said in the morning, this afternoon, let's get a chance to practice what I'm talking about. Are you guys ready for some practice of meditation now?
Yes.
How many? Please raise your hands. Thank you. How many are not ready yet? Well, the yeas have it, the nays are not there, so we'll have a little meditation session now. Before we start the meditation, I would like to do 2 exercises. How many have never done any exercise with me at all before? There are plenty. So I am going to do 2 exercises which others have done who didn't raise their hands, and they can put up with this while the newcomers have an experience. If they want to join, they can also join. The first exercise I call the orange juice experiment. And we'll start with that, orange juice experiment. In the orange juice experiment, we will imagine that our body, physical body, is made of glass, hollow glass body. There's nothing inside, and only the outside is a shell made of glass. It's empty, so we will fill it up with orange juice. This is an imaginary exercise. We'll imagine that the body is hollow, made of glass. We can't shake the body in this exercise because the glass may crack. But we will fill it with orange juice on the feet, toes of the feet onwards, in the legs, on the torso, into the arms, up to the tip of the fingers, and into our head, right to the top. Once we fill it up, we'll double check that there is nothing left empty. When the body is completely full of orange juice, then we will start the actual process. The actual process will consist of draining the body of this orange juice, for which we will have valves in the fingertips and valves in our toes. When you press the fingertips, the orange juice will escape. If you leave it, it will hold back. It's that kind of a valve, reverse valve. You press it, orange juice begins to trickle down outside. And when you don't, it will hold back. I will give you instructions when to press the fingers or the toes, and you do accordingly and watch what happens to the orange juice. The orange juice will be till the top. When you press the fingers, it will start draining from the fingers, but the level will start dropping from the top of the head. So you have to watch how the level drops from the head at different points, and I will hold you at certain points that you stop, and then you have to stop at that time, so the orange juice doesn't flow anymore. That's the short introduction to this exercise. Now close your eyes, sit upright in your chairs, and now imagine that your body is made of glass. And therefore now during the exercise you won't move your body or change your position at all. Was it a good cleansing of the body? Detox. People take different things for detox. Here it's a very simple way. I just detoxed everybody. And the good cleansing. How many of you were successfully able to do this exercise? Good. How many of you had problem? How many of you still had orange juice sticking at the end of the exercise? That's a pretty good class today. Very successful experiment. Why did we do this experiment? What's the purpose of the experiment? Purpose was simple, that your attention can move to any part of the body you want it. That's the whole purpose. As I gave instructions for the attention to move from the top of the head to the eyes, to the mouth, to the throat, to the navel, and down below, you moved exactly according to that. When I said scan your whole body, your attention went up and went down. It's an understanding of what attention is, because that is the tool we are going to use for meditation. Now we know exactly what we are needing for meditation. The very thing you just used, your attention was used to focus on different parts of the body. And therefore, you are able to now use that same attention in the other exercise, which will be to put your same attention in the head behind the eyes and not into the parts of body as we did now. Before we do the actual meditation of attention behind the eyes, I'll do one more experiment with you. It's called the feast experiment. We'll have a feast, not outside, inside. In this experiment, we will imagine, again it's a use of imagination, we'll imagine that sitting in our chair, we have a little side table with us. On the side table, there is a vase or a vase of flowers, our favorite flowers. And next to it is a cup with our favorite beverage, favorite drink. Next to it is a small plate with our favorite snack. In this exercise, we'll smell the flowers, we'll have a drink, and we'll taste our snack. And we'll see how that tastes. So let's close our eyes again. And this time, imagine you are in the body, wherever you are sitting now on your chair, and next to you, you have all this table and flowers and drink and snack. Did you all have a feast? How many of you were able to see the flowers? How many of you saw new flowers? Beautiful. How many of you saw the flowers change colors when you're watching? Good. How many of you tasted the drink that was your favorite drink? How many of you could have the taste? How many of you recognized it was old drink? How many of you felt it was something new? Thank you. How many of you had a good taste of the snack? How many of you still have the taste in your mouth? What was the purpose of this exercise? The purpose of the exercise was that your visual perception of looking at all these things is not based upon the things. You saw these things with your imagination. It's a visual experience. You had a visual experience. You had a tactical experience of touching these. You had the experience of smell of the flowers. And you tasted a drink and the snack. The taste is still in your mouth. The snack was not real. The taste is real. The experience was real, but the things were not real. It's just an example to show that sensory perceptions operate separately. Who was it that saw the flowers? Not the body, your eyes were closed. Who was it that tasted and smelt these? Yourself. There's nobody else inside to do it. You did it. What part of you did it? The part that did is your astral self. Don't be taken in astral self is something so rare or something. You're using it every day. Astral self is embodied in this physical self. And all sense perceptions belong to the astral self. They are being covered by the body and look like physical senses, and they are much less sharp than the astral senses are actually without the body. This exercise was merely to reveal that these sense perceptions are an independent thing and they constitute our astral body. Now imagine what will happen in meditation. When you withdraw your attention, these very abilities that you just had in an imaginary exercise will become real. And you will see that's more real than even the physical world that you live in. It's a great experiment. And the meditation will lead to this experience. It will shake the very foundation of our knowledge that this world is all real, everything else is imaginary. For the first time, we'll understand that imaginary is not as imaginary as we think it is. It is imaginary because our attention is grounded in this physical body. If the attention were to be pulled up, you did this experiment with the 90%, 95% of your attention still in the body. Only a small percentage, maybe 4 5%, you put into that exercise. And it was imaginary. Supposing you put 55% of your attention on that exercise, the body will become imaginary and that will become real. Do you know reality is being created where your attention is? You can put bulk of your attention on the astral self, that becomes real. You put your attention on the physical, that becomes real. Reality does not exist outside. Reality exists in your attention. And how much attention you put where. So this was merely an exercise to show you that when we have another body coming in meditation, it will become real, not because it is different. It will become real because our attention has been withdrawn from the physical to the astral and become real. And you can fly and see things and do what you like with the astral body much more perfectly than with this body. With this introduction, let us now do real meditation. What is real meditation is the art of withdrawing your attention behind the eyes. Behind these eyes is a third eye. We call it third eye. We call that place third eye center. We call that place the center of consciousness. Why do we call it the center of consciousness? Because when we are in a physical body and we are using our attention for doing things, the attention is flowing from that center. When we say, let me attend to that, where does it come from? That very center. That's where we are notionally located right now in the physical wakeful state. We are not always there. When we go to sleep, it descends from there. That point which right now we feel we are looking from these eyes, and we are behind the eyes looking out from these windows of the soul. Soul must be behind the eyes. When we close our eyes and go to sleep, it goes down. When we are dreaming, the eyes have moved down to the throat level. When we look at things, if at that time we were to be awakened and say, touch your eyes, we'll touch our throat and think they are our eyes. In fact, you can do an experiment tonight, because you're not the sadhus who do the experiment of half awake and half sleep and sleep paralysis and so on, who make use of those situations. You can do this, that when you are half asleep, feeling very sleepy, close your eyes and touch them. Right now, in the wakeful state, if you close your eyes, you want to touch without opening your eyes, you touch them. You know where they are. When you're sleepy, about to sleep at night, say, I want to touch my eyes, you touch your nose and think you're touching your eyes. The descent starts even when you're feeling sleepy and goes on down. When it goes to deep sleep, memories which you can't remember, unknown dreams, it goes even further down. But this notional point is not real, it's notional. It's where you feel you are. Right now you feel you are in the body. You're trapped in the body. Where in the body? In the head. Where in the head? Behind the eyes. Where exactly behind the eyes? Between the two eyes, the middle of the head, almost between the ears and in the middle behind the eyes. It's not that you have to make up some point, that's where you're operating from now. You're already there. Where you want to do meditation and go there, you're already there. Then what is meditation for if you're already there? Meditation is to gather the scattered attention. The attention is scattered and you lost the vision of where you are, lost the sense of where you are, and you are only concerned with what is being picked up by the attention through the senses outside. We are withdrawing our attention to the point behind the eyes, and once you are able to do that, you will see so much light opening up inside, a whole new world opens up. A whole new world, more real than this world, is sitting right there if we just gather our attention and put it there. So that is why this exercise is designed to pull attention from what reality we have created outside into the inner reality that opens up. How long does it take? Depends on how much you are scattered. If you are scattered all over, you will notice that when you meditate, you won't be able to hold yourself there. Your mind will be pulled by the strings of attachments, desires, memories. You'll be remembering all those things more than ever before. Somebody lost one's keys. I said, try meditation, you might find your keys. The attention runs so much outside. They'll try to do something to be outside somewhere. So we are trying to bring the scattered attention back by concentrating it on the third eye center, on the center of consciousness behind the eyes. That's the whole object of meditation. Once you can do that, it opens up the new world. The same exercise can be repeated to open the next world, and so on. So the path is very simple. Path is to go within. Path is to pull your attention within. Now remember, the path is not to focus your attention anywhere. And that makes it a little difficult. We are used to focusing attention. All our life we have been taught that. Focus your attention on this book. Focus your attention on learning. Focus your attention on what somebody is saying. We are putting attention away from our center. All focusing is putting attention away from our center. Therefore, people meditate and say, we try to focus our attention there. They get nothing. And they wonder why. Because focusing means going away from where you are. Otherwise, how can you focus? If you focus on anything, an assumed picture of yourself, that you make yourself a little image and say, I am closing my eyes, I can see my little image and I am focusing attention on that. You are not the image. You are the one who is focusing on it. The image is further away from you. And surprisingly, most of the time when people close their eyes and think they are sitting in the head, they are really not even looking outside the head. The image is not even in the head, it's outside. It looks in because we closed our eyes and the darkness looks like it's inside the head. And nothing happens. I am pointing this out because people have been meditating with this slight error for years and years and never found out the reason why they are making no progress. They say we're putting our attention, we focus very concentratedly. You are focusing on an image created outside your eyes. If you want to focus inside, you don't do focusing of attention, you do withdrawal of attention. You withdraw your attention to the point from where you are focusing. Can you imagine if you see some picture of yourself sitting in the head? Where are you? You are behind where you are looking at that image. It is as simple as that. That you are not at the point of the image, but you are the one looking at the image. And that's behind that. So how do we now correct this? Because we have never learned withdrawal of attention. And that's where the error is. That the meditation requires withdrawal of attention and not focusing of attention. Withdrawal of attention, we use the same tool we just used for the exercises, imagination. Now comes in imagination as a more useful tool than the power of concentrating attention and focusing on something. How does that happen? We imagine we are in the head. We don't see ourselves. We just imagine we are sitting there. You can imagine you're sitting on top of this building. When you imagine you're sitting on this top of the building, you don't focus. You don't concentrate. It's a feeling you are there. Same thing here. You imagine you're in the center of the head. There are your ears, eyes are in front. You are sitting in the center, relaxing. Not trying for something, just relaxing in the middle, on a nice chair. You can't see yourself. You can't even see yourself in the physical form. How can you see yourself there? You never see yourself. You only know where you are. And that is why don't make any image of yourself. Just feel you are in the center of the head. You know you're feeling the whole body all the time. You know where your head is. You close your eyes, you're in the head, and you are just sitting in the center, relaxed and smiling away. That's how meditation should start. So once you feel you are there, and then where you are, you look around what is around you. Not focus. You are concentrating on being there and then looking around what is there. You are still there in the center. So long as you stay in the center and don't move forward and backwards, your attention will automatically be withdrawn to the third eye center. Lights will come up just by that exercise. Of course, if you get initiated by a perfect living master, he can teach you more techniques, technical side of it, so that you can meditate with more effectiveness and use other methods also besides merely sitting there. But sitting there is the starting point. What are the other methods? There are two common methods being used. One is repetition of a mantra, repetition of some holy words. A lot of yogis, swamis, practitioners, meditators have used that method. They say keep on repeating the words. What's the benefit of repeating words? When you are deliberately repeating words, you are blocking the mind from thinking of something else. It's just one means of bringing the mind back to where you are repeating the words rather than thinking of all kind of things and being drawn out to whatever the association or other thoughts are. All other thoughts are about things outside, and by deliberately repeating words in the center, you are trying to block the mind from thinking other things. That's a primary benefit of repetition of mantra. Then why call it a mantra? Why not repeat any sentence? Repeat any word? The reason is, supposing I like pizza, ye old Shakey's pizza, we don't get it too much nowadays. And I say, that's my favorite word. And I start repeating there, sitting behind the head, pizza, pizza. I'll go to all the pizza shops in the world. It'll take my attention because of the meaning of the word pizza. Because of my association of ideas with the word pizza, it'll go there. If we pick up any other word, it'll take us where the word means. Most of our language is designed to associate other things outside. So, a mantra is that word which has no association outside. It should have some association inside, not outside. So when these mystics, these saints give us mantra to repeat, they try to give us those words which either have no meaning for us outside, or if there's a meaning, it's a meaning of something inside. In fact, the words that the perfect living masters give for repetition as a stage of meditation are the words which have actually connotation of experiences inside which we are still to have. When you have those experiences, you relate those experiences to the words you are repeating. So those words are not mantra, words are not just chosen randomly. They have a certain connotation, but you discover them as you go along to other levels of consciousness. Repetition of words is a good starting point for meditation. But then what happens? After all, it's language, and language has its limits. Language is spoken in this physical world and can to some extent partially be used in the astral world. then it finishes. There's no language in the causal world. We don't speak any language in the causal world. We only speak language in these two levels. In the physical level, we speak different languages. In the astral world, we speak one language. And above that, we don't speak any spoken or written language at all. So these words have a limited benefit. They do take us in. They pull our attention in and withdraw. We can have some experiences with them. But they cannot take us too far. Then we have to be pulled by something else. I learned that there are two kinds of cars they sell here in this country. One is called a rear wheel drive and one is called a forward wheel drive. And I discovered the difference is the engine of the rear wheel drive car pushes the car because it's the rear wheel that the movement of the car takes place from the engine. The engine puts its power, the rear wheels, and pushes the car forward. The front wheel drive pulls the car forward. The car is behind the front wheels. So there are two methods of driving a car and there are two methods of meditating. One is to push yourself and one is to be pulled inside. The push comes from repetition of words. That we are pushing. When we repeat mantras, we are pushing ourselves inside. And the other is to be pulled by something inside, which is already pulling from inside. Now, what is pulling us from inside is our own consciousness. Our own consciousness has arisen from totality of consciousness, comes down making all levels of consciousness alive, making all of them reality. And then that consciousness pulls because of its power. Now, we don't know what the power of the consciousness is, which can create the whole world and sits inside us. It must have immense power to pull us. But what we notice is that the power of consciousness to pull us can be seen, experienced in lower levels, even physical level, in the form of a sound inside. That's a big discovery that was made, that it becomes audible when it comes down. It's the experience of the spirit, of the soul at the highest level, and becomes audible, can be heard right when we are in the physical plane. So when we meditate, there are two things. One, we are pushing ourselves with repetition of mantra. Second, we are listening if there is some pull from inside in the form of a sound. When the sound can be heard, which has a pull in it, that sound alone is enough to take us from one level to another. Repetition can be stopped. Repetition is generally required till you can hear the pull of the sound. If the sound can be heard, but we drop our attention, we can do repetition again. And if by repeating we can catch the sound, we only concentrate our attention on the sound, which is not coming from outside. It is not coming from right ear or left ear. It has nothing to do with the ears. It's coming from consciousness itself, because we are alive. That living sound which comes from inside, when that pulls us, it automatically withdraws our attention faster than any amount of pushing through repetition of words. That is why this particular system of meditation, and I have examined a lot of them and practiced a lot of them, this particular one I have found to be the most useful in going higher up, and it's called Surt Shabd Yoga. Surt means attention, Shabd means sound, Yoga means union with your higher self. That through the putting of attention on the inner sound, you can go to a higher level. It's a very easy way and better way than pushing ourselves so hard. But it takes a while. Again, because of our scattered attention, the sound is not heard so easily. We are so much used to other sounds outside that we begin to hear sounds in trying to meditate which are not really that sound of consciousness at all. They may be sounds being generated by the body. Blood vessels, when you put your attention in the blood vessels, they can be heard. There's a sound, sha sound that's going because of the blood vessel. There's sound of a breathing. There's sound of heartbeat. There's so many physical sounds. And those sounds become very amplified when we are trying to concentrate our attention. Those sounds have no pull in them. And those sounds can be also generated by some resonance reflected in the physical system. But the sound that can take us is coming from the core of our consciousness has a very deep pull in it. As it happens, that sound does have a resemblance to a sound outside. It resembles the sound of a bell. Except when you ring a bell, the knock on the bell is a little harsh. Dong, but after that knock, dong, then dong, that's soft. There is a hard point in hitting a bell outside, and there's a soft part. The inside bell is only the soft part. So although there is a bell sound, that means there is a high and low coming, but that harsh part is missing in that. That's the sound that really pulls you up. Well, people discovered this long ago. Now, what did they do? They put the bells on top of their churches, on temples. We ring bells, we do everything. Bell sound became very popular as a spiritual exercise, but nobody really thought that the bell sound comes from our consciousness. The same bell sound, if you concentrate on it, the peal becomes longer and its up and down gets stretched out as if there is becoming a different type of sound. And eventually one peal becomes forever and looks like a different kind of sound. It's not like a bell sound, but it's the same sound. And you can see its progress as it goes. This kind of sound coming from the core of consciousness is a great way to pull ourselves in and listen to it. That is why I recommend that sound to be listened in after doing your mantra. Now, many of you people here are already initiated and have a mantra. How many of you have it right now? We are going to do a meditational exercise, and those who have a mantra will please use that. How many have no mantra at all? You will temporarily coin a mantra now for temporary use during this exercise. And the guideline for coining a mantra is it should be not related to something that distracts you. If possible, it should be representative of love, which is your core quality of the soul. If you really love somebody, make a short statement expressing your love and use it as a temporary mantra right now. So a temporary mantra expressing your love for the beloved can be a short mantra for today. And the others will use their mantra which has been given to them by their masters or gurus. Remember, the purpose of repetition of mantra is not to repeat just repetition like a parrot. The purpose of repetition is to put the attention on it. Kabir says in Hindi, Mala to kar mein phire, that the beads are being moved in my hand. I am moving the beads of the string. Mala to kar mein phire, jeeb phire mukh mahe. My tongue is repeating the words in my mouth. Manwa to chahu desh phire. My mind is going all around the world. Ye to simran nahi. This is not simran. Repetition of words is not simran. To be able to just repeat words mechanically, habitually is not simran. Then what is simran? Simran is where the mind is put on those words, where the attention is gripped by those words, which means you have to listen to the words. There was a question asked earlier about listening and speaking, and I said the soul listens and the mind speaks. Meditation of mantra has to be done by the mind. The soul won't speak. But how does soul listen? Attentively. Therefore, if you have a mantra, don't repeat it mechanically. Listen to every syllable, every sound of it, as if nothing else matters except what am I repeating. If you repeat the mantra with so much concentration on it, then what am I repeating? I want to hear nothing but those words. I want to hear every syllable of that. Then mantra is effective. Otherwise, your mind can run riot. And it does. When you're repeating those words, you are thinking of so many other things. The mind does not think in one channel. The mind thinks in multiple channels. You can be thinking one thing and you can be commenting upon that thought also. Mostly when we are repeating the words of mantra, what happens? The mantra is being spoken, and on the top we are saying, are you speaking too fast? Who's that speaking? Same mind. Second level. There can be third level, weaker voice. Then there can be that we are repeating the mantra, a face appears, somebody, and starts talking to us. We are repeating a mantra but listening to that person. Also the mind. So the mind can create many. So you have to put all that attention on the repetition. Supposing you can hear a second voice while repeating the mantra. Don't stop mantra. Make the second voice join in from the same point onwards. So your two voices are repeating the mantra. Supposing a face comes in to talk, stop, join the mantra. 3 people. You, your higher voice, and the third person. Supposing 10 people come, all 10, it's a big chorus. Mantra is done in such a, and if you feel voice becomes feeble, shout. Not with the mouth, with the mind. So block out everything else. Every image, every picture, you just repeating mantra in a big loud voice and nothing else can come in. Then mantra is effective. So don't make it just a ritual. Make it an exercise that will work. And then when light comes, other things come, don't comment upon them. Enjoy them. Look at them. Bathe in them. There will be such a beautiful experience that you can bathe in it almost. Your soul can bathe in it. So let's now actually try it. Let's start with the mantra. If you hear a sound that pulls you, you can drop the mantra and concentrate on listening to the sound that comes from the center. If the sound is coming from one side or the other, you prefer the right side, it is better. It leads more easily to the center. But the sound that will pull you will not come from the right or left side, will come from the center and above. It will look like it's coming from the center and above. So close your eyes and start repeating your mantra slowly, deliberately, and with all the attention on those words. Rub your face, your hands, which you will find useful later on. How many of you could successfully do this meditation? How many of you have difficulty doing it? Practice will help you. More practice will help you in doing this. This was a mechanical part of meditation. Now we come to the real part. A real part is that this mechanical part can give you some experiences. It does not pull you to your source. To be pulled to your source, you have to bring in a new element, very essential element in meditation called love and devotion. If you have no love and devotion, this mechanical thing will not take you very far, no matter how hard and how long you try. Love and devotion is the key to going beyond the mind. And therefore, this very practice has to be done with love and devotion, which means that you have to have your beloved. A beloved is not an idea. A beloved is a being, a person. So if you have nobody who is a beloved, you have a handicap. So you have to have a beloved. Those who have a perfect living master as their beloved, they have no problem because they can then visualize the master. They can visualize the master when they are repeating the words, and they can visualize the master when they are listening to the sound. This process of visualizing your master and seeing him is called dhyan, or contemplation of the face of the master. That's called dhyan, third part of this meditational technique. First, repetition, which we call simran. Second, listening to the sound, which we call shabd or bhajan. And third part, dhyan, which means contemplation of the face of the master. Of course, if you are not initiated, You can make up the face of the master with your mind and may not be the master at all. Maybe just your mind. And that is a problem if you're trying to meditate without initiation. If you are initiated by a perfect living master, he gives you the key, empowers the very words of mantra, empowers them to prevent negative activity of any kind, including negative activity of your own mind. Therefore, if your mind tries to make up the picture in your meditation of your master or your beloved, and you repeat the words given by a perfect living master, the face disappears, cannot stay. Especially the eyes and the forehead cannot be forced by the mind of a perfect living master. It's absolutely true. You see eyes of a master and it is not the eyes, but your mind is making up, repeat the word, they'll disappear immediately. If they stay, master is there, then they will stay. So that's a big safeguard that's provided by empowering or charging these words with a special power. That can only be done by a perfect living master, and he does it normally at the time of initiation, when he accepts full responsibility for the soul of that individual, the seeker. The master says, I take full responsibility. He empowers the words and settles himself behind the eyes. So when you meditate, you can, after some practice, after pulling the attention, actually see the master in a radiant form inside. Once you are able to stabilize the radiant form of the master inside, the master becomes a permanent companion forever. He is there with you no matter where you are. Not only physically, even otherwise. Physically, he can appear in meditation. Physically, he can give you a feeling he's there with you at all times. Physically, he can physically appear outside and say, like he's sitting next to you. So that relationship with the master that comes by having an experience of the radiant form of the master is an everlasting experience. No person can ever be lonely or alone after that. It's a very big plus in this meditational system, that you can never be alone or lonely if you have discovered the radiant form of your master, perfect living master inside, who will be with you all the time, day and night. It's a very great experience to have a friend like that. And that I call true friendship. And I say friend in need is a friend indeed. If the friend is not even there, how can he do anything in need? But such a friend is there with you all the time. So that's where love grows automatically, when you have that experience. And love and devotion becomes a natural thing. You don't have to try to do anything. It's a pull, automatic, with that experience. Now, for the sake of meditation, practice here, I can say, let's repeat the meditation. Let's repeat what we did earlier, with one addition. This time we'll visualize our beloved. If you are initiated by a master, the face of the master. And as a companion, as a friend, you have used two voices before. One was the voice of repetition, another voice for distracting you. If you find two voices now, use one voice to meditate, to repeat the words, other voice to talk to the master, inside, in imagination, in your visualization. You will find great progress made much faster in this method. So let's try now. Let's try meditation with love and devotion. So close your eyes. And those who have a master, please visualize the master, talk to the master. Ask questions. Say, what's wrong? Why haven't I seen you so far? What's going on? Are you still there? Or any kind of conversation, like a friend. And meditate and keep on repeating the words he's given, because those are the charged words to prevent you having conversation with your own mind. Welcome back. How many of you were able to do this? How many of you enjoyed this? Oh, very good. I'm so happy. Meditation should be enjoyable, not a chore. It should give you a new spirit. It should feel you great. When you start enjoying meditation, you become like a new person. And you wake up and feel extra strength in you and feel that this is a great day that has begun for you. So early morning meditation is helpful in many ways. I have come here on the arrangements made by Senior Guillermo Torres, Ines and his family, and they have made it possible for me to be present here today. I'd like that we thank them for this opportunity. And I want to thank all of you for the nice birthday greetings you gave me. You sang for me and gave me the biggest birthday card I've ever received. Right here. In return, I don't know what I can give you, but I can give some of you at least an astral gift, a gift that is astral, but can be accessed while you're still physically here. We know we do this sometimes in other programs, and what I'm going to do is to request my master to place some astral gifts on top of this building. And you go in your astral body, your imaginative body, and go and pick them up. Whoever can pick it up is lucky and can get one astral gift today. Those who cannot pick up today, when they have done a little more practice of meditation, next time they will be able to pick up also. So now the gifts are right now, as I speak, being arranged upstairs, above this building, on top of the building. You have to close your eyes in the same meditational techniques we have been doing and go up. You can climb around the walls, you can go right through the ceiling, you can go from outside, that's up to you. But so long as you feel you are on the top, look around and see if there's a package for you. If there is a package for you, pick it up. You can open it upstairs there, or you can bring it down and open it here and see what you got. So close your eyes and be ready to go fly up to the top of this building. How many of you were able to pick up packages? Wow, that's a good distribution. There must be lots of them. How many of you were surprised by what they contained? Wow. Well, a couple of you can share who were most surprised by what they got, what they really got in the package. Who would like to tell me? Yes.
Yeah, I saw I fly. When I fly up, I got wings. I looked like a white wing.
Yes.
And when I went, I saw the guru is right there, and there was a box. He opened a box. He has a white silver garland. He put on me.
Very good. Congratulations.
And then I become like a small girl.
Very good.
Came back.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you expect that?
No.
So, it's a very good.
Heart is thumping.
Yeah, it's a very unexpected but very beautiful gift.
I'm a little bit shaking.
I'm very happy you got a very beautiful gift. It'll help you a lot in the rest of your life. This one gift, don't forget it, it'll never leave you. Anybody else want to share? Yes, at the back? Yes. Did you like it?
Yes.
You didn't expect it?
No, sir.
Okay, keep it safely. Okay. Okay, one more. Anybody else? Yes. Very good. That's beautiful. That's what you needed. Keep it and use it. Okay, one more. I'm so glad. It's a beautiful experience. It'll help you. All those who got gifts, I congratulate them. And those who could not get gift today, they'll have another chance, another time. These are gifts they're not physical. You can see from the repetition of experiences, and I've heard them. All the gifts that I've seen are somehow drawn from the astral plane. These were astral gifts that you got. And people have got gifts 20 years ago, they still remember them and make good use of them even till today. So I'm very happy for all of those. And so many of you got these gifts today. But for those who did not, and those who did, I'll give you something else now which they have arranged. That is called Prashad.
Oh, yeah.
The Prashad is generally an item of food. We normally give puffed rice in India, and sometimes they give candy here, sometimes they have something else. The idea is that we get the blessing of Great Master. I'll invest today the blessing of Great Master. So many of you saw him, even in the gifts today. And on the 2nd of April, when Bandara takes place, so many people see the Great Master because it's his power that gives the initiation. If his power were not there, I'm nobody at all. It's all his power, the power of Great Master Baba Sawan Singh. So I am going to see that Baba Sawan Singh's blessings are placed in the prasad, and whatever they serve, take a little bit of it at a time and make it last for a while. So you will find it will also help you in your meditation. Not because of what it is. The molecular food molecule change is not going to be different. The molecular shape of the food is still the same. It's the blessing that makes a difference. It gives an association of ideas to you. This is coming with Great Master's blessings, and that affects you and helps you with meditation. So we are getting the same kind of thing that is there. We got in India very similar to this. So I'm happy to distribute this. I would like to come to all of you, or the other way around. Other way around? Then you'll have to come to me. One by one. Is that okay?
Yes.
All right.
Satnam, Satnam, Satnam.